Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Liz Gavaricor, and if you're new here, I make content to help you cultivate a slow living lifestyle and really just get the most out of life's experiences. Today I want to talk to you about traveling and specifically mindful traveling. Over winter break, I got to go on a trip to Spain, which was super cool for me and one of my first times out of the country since immigrating here a long time ago as a kid. I want to know, where have you been outside the country? Comment down below, and if you haven't been anywhere, where would you love to go? I still have a lot of countries on my list. So let's get started. First of all, why should you travel mindfully? Mindful travel is kind of just a way to be more aware and really be present while you're traveling and soak up those experiences in a more rich way. And specifically, doing journaling helps a lot for mindful travel. Throughout my trip, I wrote a journal every day. Before I even was in Spain, I was journaling on my way to the airport what it was like to kind of lose a whole day flying across the country and all the little steps in between of coming back, which was super helpful to experience the trip and also compress and decompress for each day. So one way that I made my travel journal mindful was by engaging in all my 5 senses while on the road and traveling. First off, your sense of sight is actually one of your main senses. So when you're being mindful of your sense of sight, it's going around and thinking, what do I see here that I don't see at home? And what is it like here that's so different from where I am at home? So that can be in architecture and the people there, the stores there were different, just all sorts of things. What do you see that's different? It's a good thing to ask yourself. And then when you see things that are extremely beautiful, don't just stop and take photos of it, which I think are really valuable, especially if you take photos of yourself, but also think about how you would describe it if you didn't have a photo. That was definitely one thing that helped me a lot, especially towards the nighttime when it's kind of hard to get a good photo at night. And I would just think, okay, how am I going to journal about this later? What does it look like to see these blue and purple flashing lights on the walls of these buildings? And just how the streets were lit up for Christmas, since it was December time, and they had a bunch of other holiday traditions. And the nightlife there was just super cool. So thinking about what do you see and how am I going to describe it to myself later or describe it to a friend later, and writing about that. Next is your sense of touch. Now, you've been warned. Do not try this out in museums. They might not find your mindful experiment to be very helpful for them. But anywhere else, you should engage in your sense of touch. Whether it's on the beach, really feeling up the sand, that's a sentence. Whether it's at national parks where you can kind of get a chance to see the trees, or if you're hiking anywhere. I think another way to think about it too is where you're walking. As we went through Spain, we did a lot of walking to different places that were pretty far away. And as we were hiking, I was thinking through, what does it feel like to be walking down these cobblestone roads? And I'll tell you, it really hurt climbing up some of those steps that were just milled of just the smallest bit of stone that would just get into your foot, and you're like, oh man, this sucks. But it's still an experience and worth noting. So make sure you're really engaging your sense of touch and just what you can feel as you're traveling. Next is your sense of smell. Now, your sense of smell is actually the best sense that you have when it comes to making memories. So one of the ways that you can engage with it is just thinking about, what am I smelling here that's different? What is it about this place or this place that smells different? I noticed definitely in Spain, the cities have the smell of all the bars and people smoking everywhere. They smoke a lot in Spain, and just making note of that. And then versus the countryside, when we were out in nature at national parks, what it smelled to be in the super fresh air was definitely having those two things to contrast, and that memories of them both written down was super helpful. And of course, the lovely smell of food wafting out of all the amazing restaurants there. That's a memory worth writing down. Next, you have what you can hear. Ooh, chicken sun. Ignore the sound of sizzling chicken in the background. Next is what you can hear. So engaging in what you hear can look like asking yourself, what makes this city traffic sound different from my city's traffic? Or thinking to yourself, what kind of noises are going on right now? Like for me, it was really interesting because I'd see like a lot of dogs in Spain, but like not a lot of barking at all. Maybe they were all just super more behaved or just less vocal. So even like thinking about things that you don't hear is really interesting as well for your memories. Writing down things about the cities versus the national parks, hearing the sound of the waves hit the beach and the ocean. All of these things come together to paint yourself a picture later on about what you experienced there. One of my favorite memories was probably at El Torcal, where I didn't necessarily hear a lot of things because it was so quiet. Just that sound of silence and being able to be in nature was super awesome. And writing about that later really helped solidify the memories. And it's really good, just wherever you are, just take stock of like, in this present moment, what is it that I'm hearing? Okay, last but definitely not least is your sense of taste. This is probably the most fun to get engaged with. Basically, go out and eat when you're traveling. Like, you hardly need to be convinced of that. So whatever you're tasting in a new place, could be maybe a new restaurants, new types of food, something that the locals really like. Engaging in that and then writing down what that eating experience is like is super important. Being in Spain was a super cool experience where we got to try stuff like paella and going out for tapas and stuff. And I think our favorite, like collectively as a group when we were traveling for my school, was the Tinto de Verano. It's a Spanish wine mixed with lemonade. Super good. Basically tried to order it everywhere that we went. And just having those memories of kind of like your favorite foods or just the different foods that you tried is a super cool way to engage your memories. And then if you ever go back there or you have something in your home country that tastes similar, you can be reminded of that. So taste is definitely a great thing to engage in mindfully, just as long as you're writing things down. All right, that basically sums up the using your 5 senses to engage in mindful journaling. And the big key to this is actually just doing it every day. Like I definitely journaled every day, kind of before I even got to Spain, just writing about my travels, what I was experiencing as I was getting there and the anticipation, and then all the way back as I was decompressing and kind of just reflecting then. So when you're going to be mindfully journaling, you need to do it every day, and especially for travel, continue to just ask yourself these questions. What makes this different? What is this present moment like? Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Maybe share it, whatever you're feeling. And if you really want to join the party, come check out my blog, Here Now and Forevers. You can go on there right now and see the post that I have up that goes way more in depth about mindfulness and journaling and just how you can get the most out of your travel experiences. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.